Hello, welcome inside the Mind of Matt. And this is my new friend Dan. And Dan has a museum quality collection. Why am I here talking about his collection? Well, Dan asked me to 3D print something for his collection, and I'm gonna show you. If you want to see what I printed and the rest of his collection,
stay tuned.
Alright, so once again we've got Dan here, and he's from my local town, and he got in touch with me to 3D print something for his collection. And I got on his Facebook page and I was checking out his collection, and I said to him that I would only print it for him if he allowed me to make a video of his collection. So here we are with his collection of insulators. And like I said, this is a museum quality collection of insulators. I've walked through his house. It's a multi-room little single bedroom apartment, but there is insulators everywhere. And I'm just gonna talk with Dan a little bit, and then we'll check out his collection a little bit closer. Now, also let it know that I have not shown him what I've printed for him yet, and so you're going to kind of get to experience a genuine response to what I've made for him. So anyways, so Dan, how are you?
I'm all right. How you doing?
Nice, I'm great. So this collection you got here, there's a large group of people that do this, correct?
That is correct. The hobby started in the 50s and 60s, at least what we know about it now. And these linemen would find, when they were changing them out, they'd find older ones that were different colors and replace it with a more common one and take it. And people started getting the interesting and different ones. There are thousands upon thousands, tens of thousands of varieties of them. And now at this point there's a National Insulator Association, Crown Jewels The Wire magazine that's been going on since the 60s, numerous Facebook groups. There's a large hobby-based community.
Very cool. And how many insulators would you say you have?
Oh, I don't know. Fewer than 1,000. Probably between maybe 700-ish, give or take 100. I haven't actually counted them all.
How about we take a little tour of the insulators? I have some footage that I'll be showing throughout the video, but we're going to get a close-up with Dan, and he's going to show us a couple of things. Let's go take a look, Dan. So which one are you going to show me? What you got?
What do I got? Well, I got this 7-Up Green Hemingway 16. It's not particularly rare, but it's in an uncommon color, and it was a Christmas gift from my mom. So I really like that. I have this cobalt blue one here, which is kind of the poor man's cobalt, the only way to get a cobalt intact for less than a few hundred. It's Russian, Belarusian, Neiman Glass Factory. And my father just got me this one when he went to France, which is pretty sweet because I couldn't even find a French one on eBay anywhere. I have down here, this one is Nacional Mexico Durf. I didn't even dust it yet, but that's a Mexican one. It was interesting in getting that through some online connections. This one here means a lot to me because it's the first one I found. It's not at all rare or monetarily valuable, but I found this myself in the wild down a little ways off 17.
So that's the first one you found?
This is not the first one I found. I found it shortly after I moved back to Binghamton. My friend Phil was flying this drone around, and I found that. We both had a great day. This is the first one I ever got. This CD 145 Hemingway number 21.
And when did you start collecting?
Oh, 2014.
Okay.
Or maybe it was 13. Around then.
And what prompted you to actually start?
What prompted me to start? Well, really enjoyed the beach glass I was finding at first when I lived out in California, and I wanted to see what it came from, so I started learning about the bottles it came from, etc., etc. And I started, when I went to North Carolina in 2013, I found a legit backyard bottle dump and found a lot of old bottles that were cool and other broken, mostly household glass things that had more clues as to what the beach glass came from. Also from the beach glass, there was a mystery piece I was trying to identify, which I could show you, it's in the other room, but trying to identify it I could not figure out what this double layer clear brown piece of glass with a few red letters was. That got me going into antique shops trying to figure out, okay, did it come from this, did it come from that, what kind of old glass was it? So that exposed me more to insulators, and after a little while I was like, okay, I like glass enough, I need an insulator. So I got this one at the flea market for $2 or $3. I had no idea at the time that the smooth base variant is worth 20 plus. I didn't know that because it was the first one I got, but apparently it is for the Hemingway. There's a whole price guide on them. Mine's a few years old, but there's a price guide so you can see what shapes and what everything's worth.
Very cool. And you said that the organization again was...
There are many organizations. There's National Insulator Association, NIA. There's ICON, which is Insulator Collectors on the Net, which is kind of a database for the collectors that want to get their information out there. There's Crown Jewels of the Wire. There are many, many regional and local clubs as well. And of course the Facebook community. There are many groups out there. Yeah, we could do this for hours. This one here, I think it books for about $75 in this color, which isn't that much because the Hemingway 19 CD162 is the one made in the biggest range of colors. It was one of the few insulators deliberately produced in a range of colors and offered for sale that way. Most colors are incidental due to the sand, what the sand had in it, and the content of the cullet or recycled glass. But this brown one here, I got it for $15 because of the damage on it. And the darker brown ones are definitely harder to light. This is a purple Whittle Tatum CD154. It cost me $28 because of that chip. The book only says $25.30, but they routinely go for $50 now because they're getting more popular. And a Corning Pyrex, made not too far from here. Carnival glass.
Oh, nice. Corning, New York.
Yep.
Pretty much right down the street from where we live.
Exactly. So that's pretty sweet. The Carnival glass ones are getting more popular and more valuable. Paid $50 for that one shipped. So that's not too bad. And I have some friends online that I've met through trading various things that have sent me ones, believe it or not, as a thank you, such as this purple California Signal 161. That was just a gift. He sent me a lot of glass as a gift for my time and sending him a bulky cast iron box, etc. So it's just really cool. We got a lot of different colors, a lot of different shapes, a lot of different countries too. This one's Canadian. And you get decimal numbers too. It's a 162.3, I think. And the only way you can get it is knowing someone Canadian, which I do. Mr. Barrett Nickbon hooks me up with a lot of these for good deals.
So you got a Mexican, a Canadian, a French. Yeah.
Yep.
It's French.
It is
from
French.
France.
Belarusian.
A Russian one.
I got a British one too, but I'll pick it up. It's over here on the mud shelf. You gotta get to the mud shelf for the British one because this is actually what's referred to as a pothead insulator. My brother was freaking awesome and brought me this back from the UK. He was working a job that worked on poles for communications, and he saw this old one. And this is the only one I have that's a two-piece. The only one that's English. And there's the pot inside the head. And it's GPC. I forget what it is, or GPO. I forget what that stands for, but that's my British one. English, it's sweet.
Now you said the mud shelf?
Yeah, mud's a slang term for porcelain because it's kind of a type of clay, which is a type of mud. This is all the porcelain ones except for this thing I did on top with the glass. But another good friend of mine sent me this as a gift. She said she found it for $5. It's worth a hell of a lot more than that, but it's not for sale. I love it because she thought of me and sent it. So you know, they come in a variety of colors with the glazes, and you can pick up a colorful collection of porcelain for less than it costs to do with glass.
Now, how about your biggest one? Am I looking at it?
Yeah, it would be between that one and the one in the living room on the bottom shelf, which is about the same size. This power piece here. It's about the size of a stack of dinner plates and weighs substantially more. I forget that. It's got substantial cobwebbing from the backside. This can do, I think, what, 118,000 volts? You'll still see these out in some places on top of the poles.
This is more of a modern style, is where they use ceramics and stuff.
Well, yeah, but this is probably about 50s, maybe 40s or 50s for this one. But that is correct. Porcelain has succeeded glass, for sure. Well, smallest used in service or smallest insulator?
That you own.
Well, I have miniatures that were
collection?
not used in service.
Okay.
They're reproductions, commemoratives.
Sure.
The smallest ones I have used in service. I mean, this isn't even a phone line insulator. That's the bottom of an old fuse.
Oh yeah.
You know what that is?
I know what that is.
So
Goes in
that's
a main range in 4.
But as far as a pin type, I have this Surge.
And this was actually in service?
Yeah, that was manufactured by Hemingway for the Surge brand of farm equipment, and that was designed with the Hemingway look, which I think was a push, you know, to look cool and different, and they had them for their electric fences.
Oh,
The Surge farm equipment sold these as their insulators. They were in fact manufactured by Hemingway, if you see any.
Oh, and that's a large version.
Yeah.
Very cool.
But I mean, as far as smallest, and by the way, I have other, I mean, this is a radio strain, that's fairly small.
Oh, nice.
From old, oh, I forget what kind of radio. Pre-war and wartime. And there's this, which was not used in service. That was made by Fred Wilkerson. And it's a commemorative reproduction. Really sweet, too.
Okay, I've been holding these ransom a little bit too long, so I think we should sit Dan down and let him open up what I brought. Are you ready? All right. You ready, Dan?
Yeah.
All right. Are you excited, Dan?
A little bit.
All right. I printed 2 different models that he requested.
Let's look at the real ones first.
Okay, so yeah.
Can we do that real quick?
Yeah.
If it's okay to
Yeah.
cut off like that?
That's okay.
What I asked him to print was a CAD design roughly of the CD-154 shaped like this. It's your common example, Hemingway 42.
Yeah, and this was off of the website called GrabCAD. I'll leave a link in the description as to where these models are found. So it's a pretty cool website. They've got not necessarily 3D printable objects, and some of the files that they provide aren't necessarily STLs or stuff like that. So I had to do a little bit of fusion work with these models, but.
And the other one I asked him to print said California style. So this is the California. It's actually CD-152, which is the consolidated design system for the hobby, which refers to shape, not manufacturer or style number. And those are the 2 ones that we're gonna see.
Okay. All right, now you gotta close your eyes. Stick out your hands. Don't open them. No, I said, yeah, you can open. Don't open your eyes. All right, you can open your eyes.
Wow! Oh, that's sweet! Hell yeah! Oh wow! This came out threaded on the inside too. It's the only orange 152. It's 3D printed. That's awesome. Wow! And the size.
Now I actually had to print it like this, and I didn't print it with supports, and I did have a little bit of failure up in the top. So, like I said, I'll leave a link where it is, and if you decide to print it with supports. And this is MG Chemicals. Now this one is a little bit special because this one is glow in the dark. So, well, I printed it like this, and I did print with supports on this, but this is printed with Tesla's glow in the dark.
This one is this one.
Yeah, so
You mimic the drip points, but you know what? Those Hemingway drip points are just too bulbous. Let me get a Madewell, which is much more. CD154s have variations. You want one with the teeny tiny little drips. So I'm gonna give you this because I think that this is a better. It was probably designed off the Madewell 154, not the Hemingway. Now you may compare and enjoy my Sage Madewell. Yeah, that is what it was made to be.
now I brought my UV light just to be able to show it off.
Got a black light in the living room that's 18 inches long if you want it.
That's Tesla glow in the dark.
Do it to this too. That's uranium glass.
This is uranium glass, he said.
Boom. Boom.
How's it? Stay like that, or
No,
just
it's not glow in the dark. This is glow in the dark. This glows in the dark. That glows in black light only. This does both. No. You don't want to drop down like that.
Oh no, I wouldn't.
Never.
So Dan, do you have a home for the 3D printed ones?
I believe I do.
So let's go take a look and see what you got.
All right. Well, they're at home in here. I don't know if it's a permanent home. Let me figure it out. All right. Yeah, that looks awesome there. Those are all the uranium pieces I found on the beach, or anything else with fluorescing content in the glass. You said you wanted those little ones too. Like, this is the mini Mickey, but it's probably better off down here. Those ones with the ear shaped are the Mickey Mouse. But, oh, I forget the CD. It's something or other. Don't say that on film that I forgot the CD or I'll be killed. But this is the Mickey Mouse, and it's got some issues with it. I think it cost me about 50 shipped or a little bit less. It's a very desirable, popular style. And in other colors, they go for a lot.
And the mini Mickey? Can I see that?
That's another Wilkerson reproduction. Nicely done one, too. I'm putting it down there on the UV shelf because it applies.
Nice.
Hopefully it'll work. There's that. Boom. It did take a while to get the lights hooked up, but did it. Now when it's dark, that'll glow more intensely.
So talk about this shelf real quick, will you?
Well, from what I understand, there are no service insulators made in UV colors, at least not with uranium or anything like that. There are commemoratives and miniatures, but this glass is uranium glass, depression glass, Vaseline glass. The green and the yellow anyways is, and it contained uranium. All of it's pre-war, because when the war started, they confiscated the supplies of the uranium. You couldn't get it as easily, so then they had to find a different colorant to make it green. Now it's available again for novelty and hobby use. And these ones have been painted. They were just for fun for the UV ones. They're clearly painted because they're clearly clear on the outside. And these are the uranium pieces I found on the beach. This one here is cobalt blue, but actually fluoresces nice and green. So it's cool, and if some of them fluoresce other colors too, like yellow or orange, That's probably got a mixture of manganese and cadmium causing it to fluoresce orange like that. Same thing with this here. It's shame it's not a little darker in the room, but and same with that there. This sweet piece of amberina that gets some fiery orange in it. So that's the only other thing I really collect. As you can see, I can't really expand into too many categories because there are millions and millions and millions more of these out there.
So
Like, for people that don't understand how they're used, this is part from the utility pole. It's part of the arm that extends out to either side. This one was chopped out. They removed the poles, left these behind. So you got this pin. This is the older style. Not the oldest, but an older style wooden ones. Newer ones will have a metal bolt that connects to the wood piece on top. Goes on into the hole in the cross arm, often secured with a nail. That's how that was done. Then you got that there, which is threaded. This is threaded on the inside. Goes onto the pin, and the wire gets tied on. There you go. And this is a pretty sloppy tie job, but I just threw it together
it's
last
demonstration
minute. I threw it
purposes.
together last.
Move over that way. Not too far from it.
Yeah,
I'm closer. I'm not gonna bite you.
No, but I want to.
Yeah, there you go. So, and you don't want to go ahead and do it. Just do it. Just do it.
I don't do that.
Come on. You started
I
it.
don't do that. I do this, but I don't do that.
Okay, we'll do a little bit of it. So if you like Dan's collection, make sure that you hit that like button, and thank you for stopping inside the Mind of Matt. Make sure that you're subscribed if you haven't subscribed. Hit that notification so you know when my next video is coming out. I got all kinds of links and stuff down in the description, how you can support the channel and how you might be able to save a little bit of money as well. So thanks everybody for sticking around and watching to the end and indulging me with Dan's collection.
Thank you for printing them. That's awesome. I appreciate that.
All right. Thanks everybody. Keep on coming back because there's going to be more inside the Mind of Matt. Happy printing. Be safe pouring. We traded. I gave him 3D printed ones. He gave me this one. Thanks, Dan.
Oh yeah.